yesterday I went for a really long run, about a little bit over 12 miles. When I got back, I was exhausted. And I had taken advice on what to wear on the run from Julie, and she said, now's a good time to go. It's nice and warm outside. You should be able to manage in your shorts. I wore my shorts and my long sleeve shirt. And, you know, she was right for the first hour. Okay? But, yeah, 12 miles takes me a little bit longer than that. And I was freezing by the time I got back. Not only was I freezing, but I was exhausted. And so I got in and you know, fed myself to try to get my caloric intake up and get the temperature up, and then covered myself in a bundle and turned on the game. Oh, fell asleep. Yeah, right, fell asleep. It worked out great for me. I didn't see the drubbing as badly as you must have. But I will say this. In about a half an hour after I was dozed off, Ethan came into the room, and he was really excited, and he said, Dad, wake up. I want to show you a new game. Oh, I'm just so tired. I don't really want to get up out of this bed. I'm just starting to feel warm. You know, just let me alone. And he said, no, you gotta play. You gotta play. I created this whole new game. And he had drawn on his easel a target, and there were 3 different interlocking circles, and he said, well, here's how you play the game. You close your eyes, you spin around, and you walk up to it, and you try to mark off. And if you get closest to the center, you get 1,000 points. And further out, you get only 1 point, right? And I think he rigged it because, you know, it was perfect for him. He could score 1,000 every time, and I was outside the mark every time. I said, no, Ethan, I'm really exhausted. I really don't feel like getting up out of here and learning a whole new game. I was lethargic. And I think we often find ourselves in that position. You know, we go through life and we are busy with our lives, and we get home and, you know, we think, oh, the last thing I want to have to do is learn how to use this fancy dancy TV. I don't even want to turn the TV on. I was lethargic. I didn't want to learn anything new, especially if it was a new game that I couldn't possibly win with Ethan. You know, it's all rigged so that he would win the thing, right? I was lethargic. I didn't want to get up off the couch and learn the game. But then I remembered the scripture that we were going to deal with today. The scripture of the 3 kings, the 3 wise men, these 3 fellows, these 3, well, we don't even know if they're all men, I guess. By tradition they're men, but maybe there were some women among them. These 3 who came a long way already just to get to Jerusalem, but then they realized they had to go not just to Jerusalem, but they had to go to Bethlehem. And I thought, gee, 12 miles? I can get off this couch. So I got off the couch and I played the game with Ethan. And the game wasn't so much fun, but spending time with Ethan was lots of fun. It was a Eureka moment. I found what I was really looking for. The scriptures this day, we encounter these wise ones. And I like the way that the Peterson translation offers the description for the 3 kings. It's not just 3 kings, it's not just 3 wise men, but he calls it this. In the Peterson translation it says, a band of scholars arrived in Jerusalem from the east. A band of scholars. I rather like that. It describes these fellows, these wise ones, as people who were scholars, lifelong learners, ones who were always engaged in this search for the truth. Rather like that. Not unlike another scholar in classical Greek mythology, or, well, it's not mythology, in classical Greek studies, we hear of another scholar called Archimedes. And let's have this next fill in the blank. Archimedes and the theory around, he came up with this theory of buoyancy and displacement of water. And I'll give you, the story goes something, the legend goes something like this. Archimedes, he was stumped. He was trying to solve a problem. The king had approached him and he said, you know, there was something wrong with my crown, and I gave the crown to someone who could fix it, and then they gave me back the crown, and I'm not sure that it is the proper crown. I think this is a fake crown. How can we really determine whether or not this is the real crown or a fake? And Archimedes was really scratching his head over this issue, and he thought, I don't know exactly how to figure this out. And he was like this other fellow I know. He said, the best thinking, when I come to a problem, I always take a shower, because I do my best thinking in the shower. So Archimedes, he set the problem aside for a minute, and he said, I'm going to take a bath. And then he got into the bathtub, and as he realized, as he saw the water sort of displacing out, as his weight got into the tub, he realized how he might be able to solve this problem. Archimedes was stumped for a while, but when he was taking a bath, he came up with the idea. He realized that his weight would displace precisely the same amount of water every time. And they knew I guess they knew how much gold was in the crown, and it ought to be in the crown. And that he knew that even if you took that amount of gold and you placed it in a bath of water, it would displace that much water, the proper amount of water. And so then if you placed the crown in, you would discover if it didn't displace the same exact amount of water as the gold that you knew of, then the problem solved. You knew it was a fake. And so Archimedes, as the legend goes, he came up with this idea and he shouted, Eureka! Which is Greek for, I have found it. I have found the answer. And he ran through the town, naked and dripping wet, to tell the king how to tell if the crown was real or not. And as the legend, the rest of the story goes, the crown was not real, and it plunged the country into war. These are the Eureka moments that we have, and when you are a scholar, you're always looking for truth. Even in the bathtub, you're looking for truth. And you get so excited when you encounter the truth, no matter what, no matter how it changes your life. You get so excited when you encounter the truth that you're like Archimedes, you can't help but go and tell somebody without putting anything on. You're risking embarrassment. These wise ones from the East were scholars. They were in search of the truth. And it doesn't matter how the truth changes their lives, they want the truth. It's not that they can't handle the truth. They want the truth. They want the truth because they want that change, that transformation in their lives. They are looking for it. They will go from the east to Jerusalem and even beyond. They will go from the east to Jerusalem and not just stop their long distance there, but they will get up off the couch when they arrive, having arrived at Jerusalem in the palace, they will get up off the couch and continue the search to Bethlehem by foot. Some of us get into that lethargic period in our lives when we're not ready to learn anything else. Some of us get into that, and it happens real early in life. I know, I hate to bring Ethan up in this point, but he's not here, so I'm going to bring him up. But, it's like he thinks he knows everything, and he doesn't want to study any more spelling lists. I'm not going to go with the challenge, whereas I'm just going to go with it now. It begins early in our lives, brothers and sisters. But we need to be encouraged to go and search diligently for the truth, no matter how it transforms us. But we go because it does transform us into the people who God created us to be. It does transform us. We need to be searching diligently. But more often than not like those wise ones, not like those scholars, we're more like, in the story, King Herod. King Herod, who thought, well, I don't need to study anything, I'll just surround myself with wise people. I don't need to study anything, I'll just surround myself with wise people. And then, if I have to make a change, if I have to make an uncomfortable change to truth, well, I'll just change the truth. I'll make it to be whatever I want it to be. You think we've been writing these narratives just now, you think that's a new invention. Well, it happened back then. Herod said this, and I said the next fill in the blank. He said, okay, wise guys, go and search diligently for this child. And when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage. Wink, wink. Okay, if you're really set on going to find the truth, go and search diligently for it. But then let me know so that I can go and change the truth. So that I don't have to change myself too much. Now these wise ones, these three kings, They offered everything when they came encountered with this truth. They let their lives be transformed completely. But Herod didn't want to have that transformation. He said, come back, tell me about it so that I can destroy it. And then when they didn't come back and tell him, then he came out and hatched another plan, so he was going to kill all the firstborn babies in Bethlehem so that he could rewrite the truth, so that he wouldn't have to get up off the couch. Albert Einstein felt sorry for those of us who were in our lethargic positions on the couch and not willing to be transformed by the truth. And this is an interesting quote from Einstein. He says, the most beautiful thing that we can experience is the mysterious. It's the source of all that is true, of all true art and science. He to whom his emotion is a stranger, who can no longer pause and wonder and stand and wrapped in awe, is as good as dead, and his eyes are closed. Those of us who find ourselves in the lethargic position of laying on the couch and are unwilling to learn something new, unwilling to encounter and go on that extra mile to encounter the truth, we're as good as dead. Those wise ones went the extra mile, not only on their long trip to Jerusalem, but even further to Bethlehem. And they didn't even go back as planned, because in a dream, the angel said, don't go back that way. And they said, all right, we'll try something. Always ready to respond to the truth in ways that transform. Are we that ready? We're about to enter into an opportunity to be transformed. We've invited the leadership in the church to go through Bishop Shinese's work, the 5 practices of fruitful congregations. And I've invited the congregation to pick up the book, Cultivating Fruitfulness. You might want to write this down. Cultivating Fruitfulness. We'll have copies in the office tomorrow. They haven't arrived yet, but they'll arrive tomorrow. Cultivating Fruitfulness. You can look for it on Amazon.com. Cultivating Fruitfulness. You get it written down yet? Okay. Cultivating Fruitfulness. And it's a short book, and you'll find daily devotionals. I encourage you to go through them. This week is the week we'll be going through Practice 1. On Monday, not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, we'll have a group gathering here where we'll be examining this first practice of radical hospitality in a deeper way. And encourage us to do this so that we might be transformed. It's not too late for us to learn something. We are lifelong learners as disciples of Christ. Disciples means scholar, did you know? The challenge this week: spend an hour a day exercising your brain. Ouch. Shout Eureka when you encounter the truth. I found it. Eureka. Memorize John 14:6. John 14:6.